tour and did it. The Japanese trip, we've already done an MOU. We're going to sign an MOU today here with the United Kingdom, but we've already done one similar with Japan as a result of that trip, and Cord Bird was actually out there working with them. So those relationships are deepening. Of course, in Israel, we did our trade mission. 2019 was the inaugural trade mission that we did as governor. Massive trade mission, have had a lot of major successes out of that. The more recent trip is building off of that, and we're looking to forge some additional partnerships there. Of course, we did sign a memorandum when I was over there. And then, of course, here with the United Kingdom is something that's really, really significant. Now, Florida, if you look at us, we're ranked the #1 economy in America right now of all 50 states. We're the fastest growing state in the United States. We're yet again #1 for net in-migration when it comes to population shifts. And yeah, there's a lot of statistics you can cite, but when people vote with their feet, that's pretty powerful about who's doing well and who's doing not. And the patterns have been very, very clear for a number of years, with Florida being the #1 recipient for that. We just were ranked #1 for entrepreneurship by research at the Digital Project Manager, and we are yet again #1 in the country in new business formations with 2.6 million new businesses just in the last 5 years. So we have, of course, we have a very business-friendly climate, low taxes, no state income tax, as all of you are aware of, and I know very much appreciate. We're the second lowest per capita tax burden in the entire country. We're also the second lowest debt burden in the entire country. We have paid off almost 75% of our state debt just since I've been governor in 2019. And so we are really, really low for an economy that's 1 trillion, 1.2 trillion GDP. Our debt, what is it now, like 15 billion, 16 billion total outstanding? That is really, really good. If the federal government were able to have its debt be a fraction of its GDP, we'd be in much better shape there, I can tell you that. So we're doing it right. I think it's building off success that we've had. And these agreements here, I think, are really, really good. We have, when I was over there in South Korea, we did sign an MOU with Low Carbon Hydrogen Corp, which was good. We've also worked to expand relationships between Avenger Flight Group in Fort Lauderdale and El Al Israel Airlines for a next generation flight training center. Of course, El Al moved its American headquarters from New York City to South Florida, which was a big deal when that happened. So we also are building off our partnership with healthcare company Insight Tech for next generation cancer treatments, and that's really, really exciting. So there's a whole bunch of things that have been in the works, that are in fruition, coming to fruition, and we're excited to do that. So the United Kingdom just happens to be Florida's top foreign investor. British companies account for more than 70,000 jobs in Florida, making the United Kingdom the #1 source for international investment in Florida's entire economy, with British affiliates estimated to have 18 billion in total holdings in Florida and more than 350 companies. The UK is also Florida's 8th largest bilateral trade partner globally, #1 trade partner from Europe, 5.8 billion in 2022, and that's grown by 119% just over the last 5 years. Florida also has a strong tourism relationship with the UK, more than 1.1 million visitors from the UK to Florida in 2022, and that's the second largest group of international visitors to Florida pretty consistently. This important partnership between Florida and the UK has great potential to grow even further, and today's announcement maps out how we strengthen business ties between the two of us for the future. So today, I'm proud to build on this partnership between Florida and the UK by signing the Memorandum of Understanding, which we will do momentarily, to further expand trade, bilateral investment, business relationships, and academic opportunities between the UK and the United States. This historic MOU will prioritize a number of different areas, including space research and aerospace manufacturing, medical technology, financial technology, including reinsurance, supply chains and logistics, transportation, infrastructure, and then emerging areas such as artificial intelligence and semiconductors. Additionally, we'll encourage UK-based companies to expand their footprint in the Florida marketplace. We will be helping to facilitate partnerships between private sector companies with a focus on small and medium-sized businesses. Florida and the UK will also be connecting researchers, universities, and students to further support academic success and research sharing between Florida's top-in-the-nation universities and the UK's premier research institutions. And I'm proud to be signing this MOU to further investment between our state and the UK, and I'm happy to be partnering with the Secretary, who shares a similar focus on supporting small businesses. Also just say, you look at different countries, when you're in the United Kingdom, it doesn't matter what your ethnicity is. If you're an American, it's a second home for us, because if you look at how our country was birthed, all the key things that we take for granted that informed our Constitution, our view of the rule of law, that was all informed by our founding fathers being what they considered to be Englishmen, and that was something that was meaningful to them. And that's the tradition that they took to be able to set a foundation here in the United States of America. You see that when you're out there. There's a reason why we have a special relationship, and I'm proud to be able to further that relationship between the state of Florida and the United Kingdom here today. And I'd also say the Secretary and I have also done work in our own spheres on making sure that our institutions and our society are governed by sound principles and not some of the outlandish ideology that we're seeing. We're seeing some of this in some of these college campuses and other parts of this country in relation to the Hamas attacks on Israel. And you kind of just shake your head when you see some of them out there doing what they're doing, burning American flag, taking American flags down. And it's like, that's not, I think, the best of America. So we've worked really hard to found our institutions and ground them on really sound, enduring principles and not go on ideological joyrides like we've seen in some other parts of the country. And I think it's something that's really significant, because ultimately, if the institutions get captured by ideology, they're just not going to be dependable for our society's advancement. So that being said, I want to invite up the Secretary to provide her remarks. Then we'll hear from a few other people. Then we'll make it official. Floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Governor DeSantis, for those remarks. Can I just say it is great to be in Jacksonville. This is a city that's built on free trade, free markets, and freedom itself. And this opportunity to sign this memorandum of understanding is a huge moment for the UK as well as Florida. So thank you to Governor DeSantis and to everyone who made this possible. We met in London on his trade mission. We had a brief conversation, and Ron, if I may call you Ron, said, well, let's do this. And this is the fastest we've ever done an MOU. We've done, this is the seventh state in the US. We've done this. It's the biggest one we've ever done, and it's the one that's been the most efficient and the fastest. And I know that that is all down to you, Governor. And I'd also like to thank Secretary of Commerce Alex Kelly and the Deputy Secretary of Economic Development, TJ Villamil, who also played instrumental roles. The UK's decision to gain independence from the EU and take back control of our trading policy is something that I know resonated with a lot of Americans. And it's that freedom that underpins, the deal which we are signing today. Florida and the UK are both major economic powerhouses. Governor DeSantis said so much, but he didn't mention that Florida's GDP of over 1.1 trillion pounds, as we say, is bigger than most European countries, and the UK is the sixth biggest economy in the world. So the governor will know better than anyone the power of what can be done at state level in the US. It's states like Florida, it's cities like Jacksonville, where America's economy truly thrives. And deals like this will show what can be done when we put our shoulder to the wheel and remove barriers to doing business. So as I said, this MOU is the seventh the UK has signed with a US state, and the biggest by far. And what are we signing it for? What's it going to do? It aims to boost the UK and Florida's long-established trading partnership. Governor DeSantis is right. We are the biggest foreign direct investor into Florida. It'll deepen economic cooperation and trade relations. It'll help us identify barriers to trade, and we can overcome them together. But it'll also foster business links and help unlock new investment opportunities for companies on both sides of the Atlantic. Because at the end of the day, it's not government that creates the economic growth, it's businesses. So we want to help support them to do that. And this is not a deal for the short term. It'll help us to deliver huge opportunities for cooperation in some of the most important industries of the future. And space is right at the top of that list. Florida's world-leading capabilities in launch infrastructure, rocket engine development, navigation, guidance systems are second to none. And the UK's space industry is also on the rise. It's already worth over £17.5 billion. It employs nearly 50,000 people in the UK. So this MOU is going to help our respective industries work together, share expertise, and grow. Fintech is another industry of the future that this MOU focuses on. The UK is a world leader in fintech with expertise in many different areas. And the Florida digital lending market, to take just one example, is projected to be worth nearly $14 billion by 2027. So there's a lot of business to be done. This deal is going to help us unlock new possibilities for businesses in other industries of the future, whether it's transportation, AI, or semiconductors. I had a roundtable this morning that was absolutely fascinating, just listening to businesses in Jacksonville tell us about what they are working on and how excited they are about this MOU and the opportunities that it's going to bring them. So from connecting the globe through the World Wide Web to launching rockets to the moon, the UK and Florida are known around the world for endeavor and enterprise. I have no doubt that this MOU is going to ignite some of the ideas and collaborations that will help shape the world to come. Thank you, Governor DeSantis. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you. Okay, thanks so much. We'll have hear from a couple guests, so starting with Florida Commerce Secretary Alex Kelly.
Well, thank you so much, Governor, and thank you so much, Secretary. And this really is a great honor to be here and to really commemorate the success and the outcomes of, as Governor, you mentioned, the trip back in April and the excitement around doing an agreement then, absolutely. And really, truly, Florida and the United Kingdom have enjoyed a long-standing, highly developed ties in terms of language, culture, education, science, technology, transportation, tourism, and just overall commerce. And I'm grateful for the Governor and for the Secretary that this agreement will enhance those relations and really in many respects create a work plan for what we do next as I work with the Consul General, what we do next and how we carry forward. And in many ways too, this memorandum of understanding really does signify and follow the path of Governor, your blueprint, the Florida blueprint, key tenets of this memorandum of understanding. It's framed around things like workforce education, research and development through our universities, all the facets that are necessary to create ready modern infrastructure so great companies can have opportunities to site in places like Jacksonville and all throughout the state, and really financial readiness as well. Something that the Governor has done and described earlier is just Florida is continually more and more financially ready to court business and industry because of the confidence, again, AAA rated state that Florida is. So Florida's financially ready, and this memorandum is really framed around that financial readiness. And as the Governor mentioned some highlights about some of Florida's rankings, this blueprint has led to so many Florida accomplishments that have shown how the state really does put its best foot forward. The Governor mentioned a few. I'll add to that. Florida is ranked #1 in the nation in talent development. Again, #1 in the nation in higher education. #3 in the nation in K-12 student achievement. #1 in the nation in closing achievement gaps. The 14th largest economy in the world. If you look at GDP, larger obviously than most countries. #1 in new business formations, 2.6 million over the last 5 years. And again, the AAA credit rating closing in on 140 million visitors a year. And this memorandum is really also framed around great partnership. Secretary, we've really appreciated working with the Consul General, working with your team. They do give me a little bit of a hard time for being a Manchester United fan, but moving beyond that, incredible partners and really grateful to work with them. And this memorandum is really framed too around a lot of the recent activity that's occurred between Florida and the UK. In July 2022, our Lieutenant Governor, Jeanette Nunes, took a delegation of 20 aerospace and aviation companies to the Farm Bureau Air Show. Right now, actually, we're working with pulp industry leaders in the UK regarding a recent mill closure in Florida and they're actually helping us trying to recruit companies to come into that community. Last week, Flashpack, a tech-led adventure travel company based out of London, decided to move its headquarters to Miami. Next year, in 2019, Lloyd's of London opened a Miami headquarters. 1 year ago, PaySafe, a London-based fintech company, announced it will open its North American headquarters right here in Jacksonville, bringing 600 jobs to the region over the next 3 years. And earlier this year, not too far from where we're at, we were at the groundbreaking where BAE Systems is investing $200 million in capital to increase their shipbuilding and repair operations there. So it's no surprise, as the governor mentioned, that there are already 70,000 jobs created by British investment in Florida, and it's no wonder there's 350 British companies here with a footprint in Florida. And so it's really exciting because this kind of memorandum, it's going to really create those workflows as we work together, create those sort of that vertical alignment across the different industries that the governor mentioned, so that we can pull in great investments from those who want to invest in research and development, those who want to partner with our state, with the UK, with the exciting companies that we're all working with, really create those great vertical alignments so that we're really looking towards the future and really how we can continue all of those #1 rankings and continue to grow that partnership. So again, Governor, Secretary, thank you so much. It was great to be here today, and we just really look forward to the great work to come with your team. Thank you.
Thank you, Governor DeSantis. Speaker Paul Renner, Senate President Kathleen Pasadamo, and the entire Florida legislature for the state support of our port and the jobs and economic impact we create. Welcome, Secretary Badenoch, and our other distinguished guests from the UK. On behalf of our board of directors, including our chair, Mr. Dan Bean, our secretary, Sue Gilvari, who are here with us today, we are proud to welcome you to Jaxport. In late October, our team visited London for our annual business development trip to meet with current and potential cargo customers to build on the momentum we are experiencing in the UK trade lane. In the past year, we have added weekly European container vessel services connecting Jaxport to ports in the UK, our first such direct connection with the UK in over a decade. These vessels move a variety of goods between our regions, including automotive parts, medical supplies, and retail products like food and beverage and home furnishings. The state's business development efforts and its continued support of port infrastructure and improvements have been vital as we continue to grow our capabilities and trade lanes. For example, the state's recent allocation of $30 million for 2 new container cranes at Blunt Island helps ensure we can accommodate future volume growth. This MOU will help promote the continued success in trade between our communities, supporting economic growth, jobs, and supply chain security for Florida and the UK. Again, thank you all for your support.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Governor DeSantis, Secretary Badenoch. Good afternoon. It's great to be back in my hometown of Jacksonville. I'm sorry to our guests that we couldn't dial up a little better Florida weather for you. It feels a little bit more like London than it does Florida. But today's MOU signing is another significant step in advancing strong and growing economic partnership between Florida and our international partners. The governor mentioned our trip around the world in April, and in October, I had the honor of leading a trade mission to Japan in which we deepened conversations about cultural and economic ties. Those talks resulted in the signing of a memorandum of cooperation similar with the one that we're going to sign today that aims to leverage our respective strengths in aerospace, infrastructure, logistics, and medicine for a better and more prosperous future. Today's event signifies a continuation of those international meetings and demonstrates that, again, Florida is an optimal partner for direct foreign investment and global trade in a variety of key sectors. As Florida's top foreign direct investor, the UK holds prominence amongst Florida's international partners. In addition to economic ties, our cultural ties, especially the ones the governor mentioned, including our language, we are 2 people separated by a common language, literature and art are highly developed. As Florida's Chief Cultural Officer, I can't overstate the importance that cultural exchange has played in developing our business relations with the UK. Our shared set of values that emphasize respect for history, and traditions, courtesy, and the rule of law has made our bond unshakable. Reinforcing that bond is the relationship my office maintains with Florida's Consular Corps. I've met with UK General Rufus Drabble on several occasions, most recently at Mayport, where we welcomed the arrival of the HMS Prince of Wales, the Royal Navy's newest and largest aircraft carrier. That meeting underscores the special relationship we have with the UK and the partnership between our militaries as they defend freedom around the globe. Because of our shared interest in preserving those freedoms, Florida prioritizes increased investment in our aerospace and defense sectors. With a skilled workforce and established infrastructure, Florida offers advantages that no other state can. Thanks to Governor DeSantis' pro-business and pro-growth policies, the time to invest in Florida has never been better. With mutually beneficial business relationships, an expanding economy, cultural assets, Florida offers a sturdy foundation from which international business can prosper. Thank you once again, Governor DeSantis, for putting Florida in a position to succeed. I look forward to our shared success and continued friendship with the UK. Thank you.
Okay, all right, you ready? Two copies here. Let's see. All right. And today is, what's the date? This 15th, 16th? 14th. 14th, okay. All right, who wants one of the pens?
I do. I'm taking two.
Yeah, anybody? Okay. All right, now let's show the handiwork off. Okay. All right, I will take a few questions if you want to take some.
I'll take a seat.
So this is exciting. We're happy to be able to get this done. We also, yesterday, I signed the legislation from the special session. So we did a series of bills. We're doing the Iran sanctions, expanding state-based Iran sanctions, which I think the federal government needs to do a much better job of. We're doing our part here in Florida. We bolstered security for Jewish day schools throughout the state of Florida. We put a huge infusion into My Safe Florida Home program, which has been very popular, and people have been used that to make home improvements and get lower insurance rates. And then we did hurricane relief, and we did the school choice to have more scholarships available for students with unique abilities. So that's very productive as always, and we're happy to have been able to sign that legislation. Okay, any questions? No? Well, I think you have. I mean, if you remember 2016, how many candidates were running? And they stayed in for many contests. So now you have a narrowing already, and we're still 2 months from Iowa. That is much different than 2016. I would also note, I don't know if the media picked up on this, all the campaigns last week had to file delegate slates in Alabama. So, if you win the primary, your 50 delegates go to the convention and they vote for you, right? Only 3 campaigns were able to fill out a full slate. We were the first one to do it, then Trump, then Haley. No one else filled out even close to a full slate of delegates. And so if you're going to do this, you've got to be able to block and tackle and do those types of things. So yes, I think it has narrowed. I think, and I've been able to speak with both Mike and Tim Scott. They're both great guys. I have a lot of respect for them. I think it will continue to do that, and perhaps even before Iowa. And that's much different than what it was like in 2016, for sure. And for us, I mean, you know, our view is what we've been able to do in Iowa, the organization we've been able to build, we've got 30-some thousand people that have already committed to caucus for us 2 months before the caucus. Like Ted Cruz at this point, who won it, had a fraction of that. So we're going to continue to build, and then getting endorsed by the governor, Kim Reynolds of Iowa, was huge. I mean, that's going to pay dividends, and I think you'll start to see that as the weeks go on. But she's hugely respected in that state. She's done a fantastic job, and that's something that we're very, very proud of going forward. We're also going to be back there for the Family Leader Summit. We're looking forward to doing that and building off the success that we have there. So yeah, I mean, this is the field is shifting. I think you're going to continue to see that, and that's what I anticipated. Well, the only tickets that are in the future are with DeSantis at the top. I have no interest in being the number 2. Respectfully, I think, you know, I've made the judgment that, you know, we've done so much in Florida, and Florida really shows that it can be done for our country. Like we do not have to accept substandard results like you're seeing throughout the country. And I think that's the story of Florida and our success and leadership, and we can bring that and do it. And I think if I'm able to do that, I will be able to do, you know, more for Florida as in the president than I can 2 years as governor, but also more for the country. But I've also said, you know, VP or some of these other things, like I can do more here for the country than that. So we'll be at the top one way or another. Yep.
Governor, House Bill 395 would give you the ability to remove an elected official who votes to remove a monument. Just to know your thoughts on the bill and what you would do.
I'm not familiar with it, so I would have to take a look at it. I don't know. Yep. All right, guys. Thanks for coming. Good to see you. Do you want to have any parting shots? Are you good, Madam Secretary?
Good.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you all. Appreciate it.